Okay, so I start out with an intro, and here it is. Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the An Eye for Horror podcast. Today on An Eye for Horror, I'll be talking with an actor from one of my all-time favorite scary movies, the 1988 Kevin S. Tenney cult classic, Night of the
Mhm.
Demons, whom you'd also recognize from such films as Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bolorama, Witch Trap, Life, Parks and Recreation, and many other projects. However, I know him best as Stooge from Night of the Demons, Mr. Hal Havins.
Hey Jake, how you doing? Thank you.
Not bad. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Today's been a very nice day. It's beautiful up here and yeah, having a good time. Went to the dentist this morning, but outside of that, everything's great.
Oh, that's right. How'd your surgery go?
It went fine. I'm doing really well now. So I went for my follow-up today and obviously I can talk now and everything's good.
Right on. Good to hear that. Did you always want to be an actor?
Yeah, always. Since I was a child, before I even knew what it was and if you could do it or not. Yeah. When
Huh?
I was I think I told somebody a story just the other day. When I was really young, my mom, before I went to school, my mom would watch talk shows and soap operas in the morning. And back then, the talk shows in the morning, they always had stand-up comedians on them. And I would memorize the stand-up acts and memorize scenes from the soap operas and then run into the bathroom and reenact them and do them again. And the funny thing was I would face the mirror, but I was too young. I was too short to see myself in the mirror.
Okay.
So I don't know how long I did this, but I still remember vividly the day that I could see the top of my hair in the bottom of the mirror, that I had grown tall enough to I could just see my hair.
Oh,
And I mean, it's still like one of the most distinct memories of my life. So yeah, I guess I've always wanted it.
absolutely. Cool. Cool. It's like most people never know for sure what they want to do, and you did, which is really cool.
Yeah, I was very lucky. I found my passion really, really early. I didn't go back to it until later, though. I didn't go back to it until I was like 16 years old when I was in high school. That's when I started seriously.
Okay. Were there were there any actors that inspired you and made you want to be an actor?
Oh yeah, back then, I mean, we had James Dean was just an icon. Laurence Olivier was another guy that I was a huge fan of. Yeah, there was a ton, and I mean, I am a fan at heart. I've always been. I love film. I love television. I love everything about it. And so I end up being fans of like actors that nobody knows. I'll just see something they've done and I'll just think that's brilliant work and then I'll start following them. And yeah, so when I was young though, I mean the big I think the first connection I had was James Dean because he was so intense and he had so much passion. And then as I grew I started to find my own way.
Oh yeah, very cool. What what do you do you prefer acting on stage, in a movie, or on TV?
All three. I don't care. They're all different mediums, so they have their different conventions, they have their different rules and you have to work in a different way. But I frankly don't care. I just want to work. I want to do anything. And it's probably been one of my downfalls in my career is I don't really care. I'll show up on a set and I'll do any job because I just love it. I love making product and I love acting, so I'll act anywhere. I don't care. And I'm not picky. But the stage is really the epitome of an actor's art. It really is. Because I mean, I've been doing TV and film for so long. I mean, I act in 3 second, 3 minute snatches. That's what I do. And that's what I've specialized in. 3 minutes at a time. But if you walk on stage, you walk off an hour and a half, 2 hours later, and you've had to work the entire time. and it takes an incredible amount of focus. And I haven't done a play in a long, long time. And I've actually been talking to some people where I live now about doing a show, and I wonder if I have the focus anymore. I mean, that's a practice craft. That's a skill that you have to have in you. But we're going to find out probably before the year is over.
Oh, cool. Uh, I think you do personally. You're talented, and so I, I
No, thank you.
I would say you do. But
Well, I hope so. Thanks. I appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate your confidence.
what was okay? The costume for Stooge. What was he supposed to be? And what did you think about the costume?
Oh, you mean his Halloween costume?
Yeah.
His Halloween costume was just the pig nose.
All right.
That was it. He just put on a pig nose. The clothes were his. That's just the way he dressed. If you have that haircut, you probably dress that way. So, but yeah, I always thought of it as the only nod to Halloween was the pig nose.
Oh,
So
sure.
that's what I saw anyway.
Cool. Whole house looks so creepy in the movie.
Yeah.
What was it like actually being there in person?
It was creepy as hell. It was this big old craftsman mansion, and it was absolutely beautiful. And then they were going to tear it down. I guess Ralph's Supermarket owns it, and they were going to tear it down. So they said you can go in and do whatever you want to it. And so it was the art department that went in and dressed it and made it look all old and creepy. And it was one of the creepiest places you ever want to go. None of us would go up and I think this is why we all ended up being good friends, because none of us would go to the dressing rooms. They were upstairs. There were rooms in the house they gave us. They were very comfortable, but we shot at night and the lights were always off because you were shooting. You couldn't have ambient light. So it was black and cold and miserable and creepy upstairs. So consequently, none of us ever went upstairs. We always just hung out in the courtyard of the house. And that's, I think, why we all ended up being such good friends, because we just spent the whole time hanging out together.
Oh, cool.
I think the only time I spent any significant time up there was I had to go up and take a shower when the tongue scene where I got my tongue bit out. I ended up covered in blood, so I had to go wash off to do retakes. And that was the only time I spent any time up there, and that was horrible. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. And there was no hot water in the house, which is another thing. And it never is. I don't know why. They never have hot water for actors. It's just like impossible. And I thought, well, we're in a house. I'm going to get away with it. It's going to be great this time. But no, it's cold and miserable and dark. And so we sought comfort in each other downstairs. But yeah, it was a creepy house. It ended up, they dressed it well. It was actually beautiful. But man, it was horrific.
Oh, for sure. And I guess there's safety in numbers, so they say.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of the cast had weird experiences upstairs in that house. You know, I didn't really. I did the day I had to go use the shower. I did, and it's a stupid story. I knew I was the only person up there, and I was opening the door to leave the bathroom, and as I went to reach for the door handle, I heard this like a footstep out in the middle of the hallway. And it was a long hallway because it was like a balcony that ran along the whole length of the house.
Okay.
And I heard this footstep, and I knew nobody was up there. It was just me. And I reached for the door again, and I hear. It's like, what the fuck is going on? I'm convinced I'm the only person. So I don't know how long I was up there trying to get the nerve, but I finally threw open the door, and there was nobody there. And then I looked down and I realized the boards coming down the hallway went into the bathroom. So every time I leaned forward, I was stepping on the end of the board and squeaking the other side of it down the hall. I'd never seen boards come through a doorway. You always cut them off at the threshold.
Yeah.
And Yeah, so I sat there, I don't know how many times, scaring myself because I didn't bother looking down.
Do you keep in touch with anyone from the cast?
Um, keep in touch, not really, but we do run into each other a lot, because we do like conventions together a lot. And I call every now and again because I keep trying to get everybody to do a reunion. I'd like to do a reunion show where we get everybody. So every now and again, I contact and try to get the people that because some of the cast members aren't really interested in conventions. They've
Okay.
gone on, they've got other lives now.
Oh, for
But I'll
sure.
call them every year or two to try to con them into doing one because I like to see them all. I really have great memories of all of them. I care about them a lot. They were all we were like this little. That's the thing too. I was raised in the theater, right?
Okay.
So I had done, by the time we did Night of the Demons, I had probably done 50 plays, 50 plus. And that's what it is. You come together and you bond because it's always an intense thing to try to put together a show. You bond, you get really, really close, and then you're gone. Once the show's over, you move on to the next one. So, like, they always say it's the life of a gypsy. It really is. And so it was just a natural thing for me to fall into when we started doing this film, especially because we hung around together so much, and it was like my second job, I think it was second or third. So I hadn't had much experience on a film set. And I liked everybody. I bonded with them. They were all great. We all had a lot of fun. We were all young. Most of us didn't have a lot of experience on film. Linnea Quigley did and Phil Tanzini did. But most of the rest of us were kind of new to film. Um, so I would just watch Phil and Linnea all the time, figure out what they're doing, and then I would just do the same thing. So I think I looked like I had a little more experience than I did.
Well, it came across, great. It was so. How did you get into the character when playing Stooge?
Well, um, man, fuck, I don't remember. That was so long ago. I'm trying to think what I used as an inspiration for Stooge. I mean, I knew volume was like the key. He had to be loud,
Oh, yeah.
and I still it still bothers me because I basically shouted through the entire film, which it just drives me over the wall. I remember when I went in to loop it, had to go and loop some dialogue, and I was watching the playback, and I turned to Kevin. I was like, "How the fuck could you let me do this for the whole film?" He's like, "I thought it was funny." So, but yeah, I knew he had to be loud. He had to be kind of wrapped up in his own thing, for the
Okay.
most part. And then I tried to find places where you could make him more human, where he reached out to others in the cast,
Yeah.
and that was it. I think, you just like, it's like kind of like the building blocks of every character. Everyone's different, but the building blocks are the same. You kind of figure out what their overall thing is, and then you try to find how to make them connect as a human. It doesn't matter if you're playing a bad guy, a good guy, a funny guy, a serious guy. It doesn't really matter. It's all the same building blocks, and you just shape them to fit the project, fit the tenor of the project or the medium you're.
Okay.
But yeah, he was about being loud and about being self-absorbed, and then kind of switch it up a little bit when you see that he actually cares about some people for a second before he gets killed and turned into a demon.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that was that.
Oh, man. Can you tell me about the blue cookie?
Oh, the blue cookies?
Yeah.
Smoke cookies?
Yeah.
Yeah, smoke cookies were oof. Back then, especially if you did horror, if you did anything at night and if you did horror, you were working in blue smoke. That was just it. That's what they used to make film look soft and pretty. And it was these little cookies. They look like little road apples, they look like horse turds. and they were kind of like an incense material, and they would light them, put them out. Every set back then had a cast iron pan because that's what they would burn them in. They'd light them, blow them out, set them in the cast iron pan, and it would create smoke. And it was this really pretty blue smoke. And they would waft the smoke with boards, and try to get it to evenly spread in the environment, And it just made this beautiful texture and color. The problem was you gacked up and blew snot out of your nose for the next week or two. It like took forever to get this stuff out of your lungs and out of your nose. And turns out they don't use it anymore because they were cancerous. But
Jeez.
I smoked cigarettes back then, so I guess I was dancing with the devil anyway. But it was really beautiful stuff. And the funniest story is Phil Tanzini's story. I will steal it because Kevin Tenney tells it all the time. Phil Tanzini, they were doing a close-up on him at the fireplace, and I was actually sitting there watching. And the guy that did the smoke cookie, he said, "Do you need more smoke?" And Phil turns around and goes, "Let me check." And he sticks his finger up his nose and goes and pulls out this blue finger and goes, "No, I think we're good." But yeah, Phil Tanzini is actually the funniest human being I've ever met in my life. The guy's absolutely hysterical, like every minute of the day. At least back then he was. I don't know what he's like now. I think he's more mature now, but my God, he was a funny guy. And yeah, like I said, I leaned on him and Linnea a lot to get through the shoot, to figure out, what to do.
Oh yeah. Cool. What was your favorite kill in Night of the Demons?
Favorite kill?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Or possession?
favorite kill. Gotta be Jay. When
Oh,
she popped his eyes out,
oh hell yeah! That was so
I
badass.
guess. I mean, that's where my mind goes first. That was grisly. And really well done too. I mean, it was like it looked real. Um, favorite possession? I don't know. I guess Angela. Angela was the coolest possession.
Oh yeah, just
Yeah, because she
making out
looked
with him.
good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she looked good. She had that long black dress and all, and yeah, it was a very cool possession. I look like Humpty Dumpty. I was seriously the most unthreatening demon on the face of the earth. It was shameful how I got saved by Jim Quinn. Jim Quinn did all the demon voices,
Oh yeah.
and he did all the sounds for Stooge when he was a demon, and I got saved by that because if you would have had to listen to my noises, nah, it wouldn't have worked at all, at all. Yeah, Jim was actually he. I think a lot of people may know, but maybe they don't know. In the one of the opening scenes when Angela and Suzanne go and rip off the convenience store,
Yeah.
there's two convenience employees sitting at the counter, and Jim Quinn is one of them, and he's the guy that did all the demon voices, and he just
Oh
does them. He just starts talking, and he sounds like a freaking demon. It's great.
hell yeah. He was also in Witch
Witch Trap.
Traffic.
Yeah,
Thank you,
he
Witch
was.
Traffic.
He was the male lead in Witch Trap. Yeah.
Oh, he was hilarious in that movie.
Yeah, no, he's a good actor. He really is. He went on to do a lot of sound design. He worked in sound.
Okay.
So I don't know what else he did acting wise. I used to live near him, so I'd run into him every now and again. But I
Oh,
haven't seen him in quite a while.
okay. You can answer this, right? So I'll ask it anyways. Did the cast hang out before filming to build a rapport with one another?
No, not specifically for that. We just hung out. Like I said, nobody wanted to go upstairs and hang out up there.
Okay.
And there was this courtyard where they had a bunch of directors' chairs for us. And we just hang out there and chat all day, talk.
Cool.
And yeah, so we did build a rapport, I think, most of us. And like I said, I have great feelings toward all of them. I think one of my happiest moments, you know.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so we spent a lot of time together, but I don't remember any deliberate time together, like rehearsal time or anything like that. I think we just hung out and went to work.
Cool. What was it like filming your death scene?
Did I die?
Well,
I'm not sure I died. You mean when I got possessed or
possessed.
when I got lit on fire?
Oh, when he got possessed.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a little nerve wracking. I'd never had a kiss on screen before, you know, and that was a little nerve wracking. It was a little weird. But you know, Amelia's like fantastic, and we had spent a lot of time together. Um, I guess not up to that point. It was after that. Once we were both possessed, we spent a lot of time together in the makeup chairs, right next to each other, because we had the most extensive makeups. You know, so we would spend hours together getting makeup put on every day. And but yeah, no, she's fantastic, and you know, the scene was cool, except for the fact that I got my earring ripped out of my head,
Wow.
and yeah, ouch. And when we went to, it was funny because when we went to get cleaned up after that to shoot again, makeup was washing off my face, and she starts pulling on my ear, and she goes, "Oh my God, that's you!" And the inside of my earlobe had become the outside of my earlobe because it all just got yanked out. So luckily we had the budget for a paramedic on set. So I had him patch everything back up and then shove the earring back through again. He's
Nice.
like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure." He's like, "This is gonna hurt." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." But I was not gonna have a disappearing earring for the entire film for the rest of my life. Wasn't gonna happen. So there's only one shot in the whole film where I have no earring. And that's actually when I fell down and then I stand back up and I was covering my face. The earring's gone for that one brief shot. And then that's when I went and got cleaned up and put it back in. But yeah, I'm a big stickler for continuity. It's like everything has got to be the same always, or I go nuts. You know, that's just it. Like I will rearrange my own props constantly. If the prop guy comes in, usually what will happen is you set a scene and they'll take, I don't know what they do digital pictures now, but it used to be Polaroids. And they would keep a big ring of Polaroids that they punch holes and they just flip through them. And okay, so here's the desktop. And they'll set it up the way the desktop is meant to be set up. But if it isn't exactly the way it was, I would rearrange it because I knew exactly where everything went. Because it's just part of my process is to figure out where everything is and what it's doing. So yeah, I'm a big stickler for continuity. I hate when things, like you have a scene where a guy's hair's combed, then it's not combed, then it's combed, then it's not
Yeah.
combed. It's like that stuff drives me up a wall. It's like how hard is it to remember to comb hair? It's not that hard, and it's all part of it. Everything is part of it. Everything you do, everything you touch, it's all part of a performance. So it all has to count for as much. All right, now we're getting into the weeds. Forget it.
What was the night of the Demons fun set to be on?
Yeah, I think I've kind of covered that one. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
you did.
blast. We had a great time. I loved it. We did some of the stupidest stuff. I smoked back then, so I would walk out in front of the house and have a cigarette every now and again. And we shot, all through the night into the morning. And he'd be out there with demon makeup on, having a cigarette, and these kids would start walking to school, and they would totally freak. And so I realized this, and I started smoking behind the house, so nobody would see me. But there was one time that actually it was Phil Tanzini there was a burrito place across the street. He's like, I'm hungry. Let's go get something to eat. I'm like, okay. So we go over there, and there were some people sitting at the tables, and they got up and left. And then I went to order the food, and the guy's staring at me like I had three heads. And I'm like, dude, I want a chicken burrito. That's it, just a chicken burrito. And the guy's just staring at me like, come on, man, let's get it together. So finally, I get my order. I sit down, and I'm like, Phil, I'm like, what the hell's going on here, man? And he looks at me and he goes, dude, you're still wearing your makeup. I had no idea. I went over there because you get so used to it, you know,
Right.
you don't even realize it's on. And yeah, that was funny. Which is the reason he asked me to go over there to begin with. In all honesty, I think he knew that I didn't even realize I was wearing it anymore. He's like, "Come on, let's go over there."
Oh,
So
I'm
anyway,
sure.
but yeah, it was a blast. We had a lot. We had a great time. Really did.
Nice.
And I still like most of the cast. I'm still super friendly with now. Like I get to see Alvin all the time because I go to the East Coast a lot. And we'll do conventions and stuff together. So Alvin and I get to spend a lot of time together. And Amelia, I get to see quite often, and I she's literally one of the best people you're ever going to meet in your entire life. She is an amazing woman. She really is. But yeah, I gotta, it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Have you seen Night of the Demons two or three?
I saw two. I haven't seen three though. I only saw two,
Oh, cool.
and two was good. I liked it. I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
But I haven't seen the third one, and I haven't seen the remake either.
the remake's not bad, but it's not the 1988 classic.
Well, from what I can tell, it's a completely different film. It's a different kind of film.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't think you can really compare them. It's just like I don't think it's fair to try to compare them.
Yeah, you're right.
Also, too, you're gonna like whatever you grew up with anyway. That's what you're gonna like. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, it's like so people that their first taste of it was in whatever year they did the remake. That's the one they're gonna like. You know,
Okay.
and let's face it, too. Night of the Demons was a product of its time. You know,
Oh yeah.
that's what we're doing back then. We're doing kind of campy horrors, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of scares. And that's what we were doing. And they just don't make films like that anymore. You know,
No,
for
and
the
it's
most
sad.
part. Yeah, they were fun. They were a lot of fun. So, that's what happens. Tastes change. And people look for different things in their entertainment. Look at we're going through now. The entertainment is changing 180 degrees right now, right in front of our eyes, all because of YouTube. You know, audiences expect different things when they watch video now. When they see images, they expect to see something different. So it's just what happens. There's 500 years ago, they were walking around looking at oil paintings, going, "Yeah, this is the best ever." So that's just the way it is. Things change. You try to keep up.
Yeah.
What's the
So,
old saying? The only thing that stays the same is change.
oh yeah, change is the only constant or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't say it quite as eloquently.
It's. I wish it was mine. I'm not the first to say it, unfortunately.
Let's just say it was Benjamin Franklin. He gets credit for everything.
Sounds good to me.
Exactly. Poor Richard's Almanac.
did, 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 did you keep any props from the movie?
No, I don't think so. I think they gave me one of the necklaces, and I have the sweatshirt somewhere, but I don't know where it is anymore.
Okay.
It's in storage somewhere. But that was really it. I didn't have any, I didn't have much. I had the pig nose, but I don't know what happened to that, to tell you the truth. And oh, actually, I do know where the pig nose is. The pig nose and the gauntlets. Um, They're owned by a fella in Massachusetts who actually worked on a documentary about the film. And the producers gave him Stooge's costume, basically, his the gauntlets and the pig nose. So he's got him mounted in the shadow box now. And excuse me, he's also got the pumpkin from the top of the car. I don't know how that thing survived. I think it's all latex or foam. It's not solid, but it has lived. He's got it. He showed it to me like 2 years ago at a show.
That is
So
badass.
yeah. So Chris McGibbon. Actually, I shouldn't say his name because now everybody's gonna be. I want to see the stuff. But yeah, he's been a great friend for the last few years.
Nice. Do you think Stooge and Angela would have hooked up before she got possessed?
Absolutely not.
No.
No way. Now, actually, I thought of it as Allison Barron. I can't remember her character name,
Helen.
but I thought, huh?
um,
Helen, yes, yeah.
Helen, yeah.
I thought Stooge and her were together.
Okay, yeah.
That's the way it was in my mind. She didn't see it that way. I think she thought. I think for a little while she thought like she might have been my little sister, and then for a little while she thought we might have just been acquaintances that were going to the party together from school. I
Okay.
don't really know, but I thought that they were together, which is why Stooge. I didn't think Stooge would talk to her that way if they didn't have some kind of relationship. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Shut up
You
and
just,
drive, bitch.
yeah, you can't say that shit to somebody that you don't know.
No.
So I just assumed that they were together. But I also assumed that she didn't like him all that much because he's an asshole. You know? So it was like it was completely normal that we were together, but not really affectionate, you know?
Okay.
And that was is what made sense to me, you know. But it doesn't, in all honesty, a lot of times it doesn't matter what the actor across from you is thinking. It just matters what you're thinking. You
Oh,
know, you guys can both have two different interpret. You're going to, by nature, you're going to have two different interpretations of a scene anyway. So you do your thing, they do their thing, and then hopefully you meld them together, and hopefully it works. Then you end up with a girlfriend who's on the floor screeching and crying, and instead of I love the fact that instead of being kind and reaching down for her and trying to help her, he just talks trash about her.
you
What was
cannot
it?
take
Disney
this
Fun?
bitch
You
anywhere.
can't take this bitch anywhere. Yeah, it was just like I don't know what was wrong with him, but it was pretty serious.
I have to say, I love this movie, as you can tell. And,
Ah, look at that! Yeah,
oh, multiple copies. Oh, yeah.
yeah. You can get on going on every screen in the house.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not a bad film. It's kind of a fun film. It's one of the few things I've done that I've been forced to watch several times. I don't like watching, and I like any actor, nobody likes watching their work, you know.
Okay.
But because of screenings and stuff like that, I've had to watch it a few times. And, I like it. I think I don't see anything wrong with it. It's shot beautifully. David Lewis was the cinematographer, and he was fantastic. It looks great. The effects are amazing. It's a little bit spooky and a lot of bit stupid, and it's like the perfect kind of blend, you know?
It is. It
Yeah,
checks all the boxes and it holds up still.
I think it's enjoyable. It really is. It's funny because you see things in your head in memory much different, you know, and then you sit down and if you actually watch it, normally I don't. Like if I'm at a screening or something, I'll say something in the beginning and then I'll duck out the back while the show's running, and then I'll come back in, you know.
Yeah.
But there's been a few times where they sit you up front so you can't walk out.
Oh no.
And I've watched it like I don't know in the last 5 years. I watched it like 10 years, maybe 3 times I've watched it on screen, and I've enjoyed it every time. You know, Admittedly, it's a lot of memories for me, so that makes it easier for me to enjoy it. But
Huh.
I think it looks good, and it looks really holds up on a big screen. I mean, it looks great on a big screen. You know, I'd like to see this new. You held up what is a steelbook version, right?
Oh,
And I'd like to see that. That's a
4K.
Yeah, that's a much higher quality. Um, and I haven't seen that version yet. I'd like to see it though, see what it looks like. Uh, they're also talking about releasing it with a new audio track that's improved. So hopefully, get to see that too.
Oh, yeah. That was it. Oh, okay. Did you see Witchboard before being cast in Night of the Demons?
I think I did because I remember seeing Witchboard in the theater, and my wife was a big horror fan, so she probably dragged me to go see it. But I remember seeing it in the theater, so that had to be. I had to have seen it before Night of the Demons. Um, it could have been I went there because I knew Kevin made it, and it could have all been around the same time. I don't really know, but I
Okay.
remember went to watch it and I liked it. You know, and that's where I learned the trick of if you can't match a scene, shoot the inserts in extreme close up and put them against black, and nobody will ever notice it. It's like that's a great trick, and Kevin did that in Witchboard.
Cool.
So if you know what I mean, if you know what I'm referring to.
I probably should, but I don't. Um,
Well, you shoot a scene, right? And it's in
right.
a house. You need to reshoot some stuff, but you can't get the house again, or you don't have the money. So what you do is you reshoot everything in extreme close up and put them on a black backdrop, and nobody will notice.
Okay.
You go from the house to black to the house because in our minds we just don't look at black because it's black. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
So in our minds we don't really register. And if it's just a quick insert, filling in stuff, you'll never know what's happening, and it works really well.
I like that.
Yeah, you'll see it in a lot of stuff. You see it in a lot of things actually.
Okay.
That was just the first time I'd ever seen it.
Cool.
But yeah, I liked it, and I liked Tawny. She was pretty cool. I know she had some issues, but I met her several times, and I always thought she was great. You know, and Kevin loved her. He thought she was fantastic. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
Nice. So, do you like scary movies?
I do. Yeah, I do. I watch a lot of horror actually. In fact, last night I watched Eli Roth produced Clown, and I
Wait,
watched that last night
oh,
because somebody was telling me about it. He's like, "Well, it's creepy and atmospheric," so I checked it out. And, wasn't bad. It was okay. I liked it.
yeah, yeah. It was creepy as hell. Him trying to take off the clown nose and whatnot, and just and
Oh yeah, just
the
tearing
wig.
himself apart trying to get out of the suit was just grisly.
Yeah.
Ripping off the nose, putting the saw down his shirt, and oh man, it was horrible.
Yes, it was almost kind of claustrophobic because I would say because you felt like you were wearing the nose. I don't know, just my imagination made me feel like I was wearing the nose.
No, it did. I mean, when she ripped off his nose, and there was nothing but just bloody mess under it. God, that was horrible.
It was.
That was just horrible. But I thought it was actually a genius move because I was waiting for it to grow back. You know
Okay.
what I mean? And then I realized it wasn't going to. And if you had the big red nose, you'd look silly the whole time. So how do you get rid of the big red nose but still keep him looking like a clown? You tear the skin off of his nose so it's red, but it's not a big ball. I was like, that's a genius move. That was like really smart filmmaking.
Very.
And what I'm saying is, I think it was intentional. I think they did it on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so anyway, I enjoyed it. It was a good one.
Nice. Okay. What do you like on your pizza?
Olive, onion, and sausage. I
Nice.
can say that right off the bat. First off, I don't like pizza very much. I don't eat pizza very often.
Okay.
But when I do, sausage, olive, and onion. And bell pepper. I like bell peppers. I know most people don't, but I like bell pepper on pizza. But it's
Good.
got to be specific pizza. I mean, it's the weirdest thing, man. Just some pizza just grosses me out. I can't stand it. And then other people pizza, you can't eat enough of it. It just I don't know.
Cool.
So, but yeah, I don't. And I like it cold.
Cold pizza is good too.
Yeah, the next morning out of the fridge, if you're in a pizza mode, that's the way to do it.
Oh, for sure.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't eat much pizza. I taught acting. I still teach, but I don't know, since the 80s, since I got to LA, I've been a teacher and a coach. And in my youth classes, I would always give them a break, like a 30-minute break, and I would order them some Domino's pizza. And I got so disgusted by that stuff. Also, too, getting raised up in the theater, right? The only thing that was open after a show that was open that late where you could go get food and beer was a pizza joint. So consequently, I ate so much pizza, I just couldn't eat it anymore. I got just sick of it. And so now it's not as bad. Now every now and again, as long as it's from the right place, I can enjoy it. It's always the same sausage. Got to be sausage.
Oh yeah.
Hate pepperoni. Hate pepperoni. Pepperoni is like ruined bacon. It's salty and greasy and disgusting. It, not for nothing. If you love pepperoni, love your pepperoni. It's okay.
No, no, no. That's cool. How about mushrooms? No.
Oh yeah, mushrooms. Yeah, mushrooms and sausage go together hand in glove, man. I forgot
Exactly.
mushrooms. I forgot mushrooms. Yeah.
Oh, shame. How can you forget mushrooms? No.
Huh?
Shame on you.
What did you say?
Shame on you. How can you forget mushrooms? Can't
I
even.
know, right? I'm just a piece of. You ever see the film The Attack of the Mushroom People?
No.
Oh, it's an old Japanese horror film. My brother was so obsessed with this film. Anytime it came on TV, we had to watch it. Now, if you go find it, because you can't find it, it's a redone version. It's not TV safe, so it's not funny anymore.
Mm.
But the TV safe version, when I was a kid, was absolutely hysterical. It was one of the funniest things you'd ever seen in your life. And it was these huge mushroom people. They're like just huge mushrooms. And they were attacking this boat that was in the middle of the jungle for some reason. And oh my God, it was a funny film. Man, it was brilliant. My brother was obsessed with it to the point that one year for my birthday, he bought me a shirt with mushrooms on it. I was like, what the hell is this? He's like, it's Attack of the Mushroom People, man. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to see it, it's a pretty interesting film. It's actually a lot better than I give it credit for. Because if you watch the original film, it's in Japanese, but I mean, if you get the dub version, it's not so bad. But if you could find the TV safe version from 1967, one of the funniest things you'll ever see in your life. God, it was hysterical. My brother was obsessed with it. He thought it was an amazing piece of film. And I would just sit there and laugh. He'd get so pissed off at me because I couldn't stop laughing. It was a brilliant film, man. Anyway, I saw a colorized version of it that was dubbed, and it was legit. It actually wasn't bad.
Attack of the Mushroom People. Okay.
Yes, Attack of the Mushroom People. It's from probably the mid 50s out of Japan in like the late 50s, mid 50s, something like that.
Okay.
Could be the early 60s, but the version I remember is black and white. So I think I saw a colorized version recently, like 2 years ago. But it could have just been because I was watching the black and white TV. Back then we had those.
Okay. All right. Quick question. What are five of your favorite movies?
Five of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite film is Apocalypse Now. I think production wise, it's the perfect film. I think it's the production wise, it's the best film ever put together. Um, Horror film, my favorite film is The Exorcist. I think it's one of the best films ever made. Um, God, the list goes on and on. It's like, how do you pick five?
Right.
How do you pick 100? You know, it's funny. I was thinking last night. I was actually asked to contribute to a book, and it was the 10. I think that it was they wanted me to do a list of the 10 most frightening horror characters, right?
Okay.
And then write a little piece about each of them. So I did that. I don't think I actually ever sent it to the author, though. I don't think, but I did it. And I was thinking about it last night. And have you ever seen the film The Entity with Barbara Hershey?
I think I started watching it, but I don't know.
I saw it when I was really young, when it was out in the theater. So I don't know how old I was. It is one of the most frightening things I've ever seen in my life. It was so horrific, man. And so, yeah, The Entity has to go up to one of my lists, go up to the top of one of my lists. But yeah, I mean, most of the films I like are older films that, like On the Waterfront and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, uh, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. That was a great film. Like, so most of the films I like are old classics. That's what I'm into. But Apocalypse Now is always stayed with me. I just think it's just an amazing film. It just is. The performances are great. Don't ever watch the director's cut though. It does not hold up. I think Francis Ford Coppola is the greatest filmmaker in the world that doesn't know how to make a movie. He's got to have a strong editor and a strong producer because he will just keep making. He won't stop. He just sits there while you're doing a take. He'll sit there and just keep writing the scene. And they go, okay, let's try this because his brain doesn't shut off. He
Okay.
never decides he's done, which is why he's so good, which is why his imagery is so powerful. I think he's the greatest director in the world. And as long as, he's limited by time or budget or whatever, he just knocks out the best films ever made, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah.
Of course, then there's Quentin Tarantino and Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction in my house was like, God, I don't know. It was like the Passion Play. My wife was addicted to Pulp Fiction, man. In fact, one year for Christmas, I got her the action figures. They're like big. They're like 15 inches or something like that. And they talked. And there
Oh,
was Quentin Tarantino's character. There was Travolta's character. And then Samuel L. Jackson's character. And they had a little switch in the back. They talked, right? And you hit the switch and it would say lines from the movie. And then you hit the switch the other way and it would say all the censored lines from the film. So you had these little dolls who just like, English, motherfucker, do you speak it? It was hilarious. You'd have thought I bought her a Rolex watch. In fact, I did buy her a Rolex watch, and it didn't go over as big as those three dolls. I'm telling you. They sat in her office for years. Yeah, she was addicted to that film. But yeah. So I don't know. It's hard to pick five. I was like, it's a lifetime of loving film.
right.
It's hard to pick five. So, but I could keep going. There's more.
Oh, absolutely. Well, one last question, I guess. How do you feel about being made into an action figure?
That was pretty cool, actually. I thought it was awesome. I um I didn't know they did it, actually. And I was doing some research trying to find some imagery of Stooge, and I saw these pictures online, and I was like, it looks like me, but it doesn't look like me. There's something wrong. There's something different. It looks just like me. It must be me. I don't remember taking those pictures though. And then that's when I found out I was actually looking at the action.
Okay.
And yeah, I thought it was very cool. I wish they I wish they would have let me know, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I bought a bunch of them. Used to drag them around to conventions.
Nice.
But yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever, you know. And to be in the package with Suzanne was awesome, you know,
Yeah.
because you gotta love Linnea. Who doesn't love Linnea?
Oh, she's great.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She's one of the nicest people in the world, and you know, devotes her life to helping animals and entertaining people. And it's like, God, you can't ask for anything more out of somebody.
No.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was very cool, and I still have two of them somewhere. I don't know where,
Oh,
but I
nice.
have them. So, but yeah, man. So yeah, all in all, you know, I can't complain about any of it. Demons has been great. People like it. It's held up, and you know, I did an interview the other day, and somebody asked me about it. I was like, you know what? Nobody tattooed an image of me from 21 Jump Street on their body, but there are people that are walking around with Stooge. So it's like you can't complain when people connect to something that much, you know, you can only be grateful, you know, just have to be happy. You have to be grateful that you actually did something that people care about, you know, which is the whole goal, you know, that's why we act. We want people to care about it, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah. And like you said, make a connection with your performance, your character, or something.
yeah, well, you know, they're all your children, right?
Right.
And you hope that people like them, you know, just a little bit as much as you do, you know, because that's the weird thing about a character. You know, somebody asked me, I don't know, recently, somebody asked me about, you know, stuff I've done that maybe I didn't like, that I wasn't happy with or proud of. And it's like, you know what? They're your children, like I say, and you're happy with all of them. You love them all. Doesn't matter. You could be looking, especially when I did a lot of theater, I'd run into characters I just hated. I didn't want to play the character. I didn't like it. And the moment you started working on it, all of a sudden you become emotionally connected because that's the job. You have to. And then you love them, you know, then they're part of you forever. And they change you forever. Every time you do something, it changes you forever. You know, it's like anything in life. Anytime you do something new, it changes you. You learn something, you become a little bit different, and hopefully it changes you for the better, you know. But yeah, you love them all. And you know, it's hard to pick one from the other, you know, it just is. It's like they all make me happy, you know.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, and there's more coming. I'm not done.
I can't wait to see it. Um,
Yeah, me too.
your best, your favorite line, real quick, in the Night of the Demons. What would it be?
Oh, please. Please. That's a
Okay.
sucker play right there. Eat a bowl of fuck. And
I am
that's
here
not my line. That's
to
John Belushi's
party.
line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, I got that. I was reading Belushi's autobiography when we were shooting it, and which is strange because normally when I'm working on something, I don't read or watch anything. I just focus on that. But for some reason, I was reading not an autobiography, a biography of Belushi, and there was a story about him ad libbing that line when he was working for Second City, and I was like, I got to do this. I got to do it somewhere. So I went in and asked Kevin. I was like, Hey man, I want to say this. Can I say it? He's like, Yeah. Where? I don't care. Wherever you feel like. And that day, I believe it was, we were shooting that entry scene, and I was like, That's perfect. It's like the perfect spot for me. So that's where it came from.
All right.
It was an ode to Belushi. So, but yeah, I
Oh,
was a big fan of Belushi. Excuse me, I was a big fan of Belushi. I thought he was an incredible talent. You know, he was so good. And unfortunately, he got taken.
too soon.
Yeah, way too soon. He was very young, and he had a lot more to do. And if you look, you know, his last film was a film called Continental Divide with Blair Brown, and it was a romantic comedy. It wasn't slapstick. It wasn't. It was serious actually for the most part, and it was just a kind of serious romantic comedy, and it was fantastic, and he was fantastic in it. And it only showed where he was going to go with his career, what he was going to do as an artist. And boom, got some Canadian wench came down here and killed him. I blame Canada.
Blame Canada. Just like South Park. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, Hal. I
Hey,
appreciate
thank
it.
you. Go
Um,
ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no, just I appreciate your time. So, and just
Oh, I just noticed your shirt.
oh
Well,
yeah, yeah.
there's a little thing on the screen, so I couldn't see it. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Jake. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you having me. And I hope you like it when you're done putting it together.
Oh yes, absolutely. Well, take care and have a good day.
You too. It was a pleasure to meet you, man.
You too, sir.
All right. You're going to have to turn it off because I never know how to turn these things off.
Okay.
I say it at the end of every one. I don't know how to do this stuff. I barely get on. So, all right. Take it easy, man.
You too.